What's up, guys? Whew. It's 1:21 a.m. right now in New York City, and I gotta wake up for work tomorrow early, so I'm gonna get a few hours of sleep. But after this horrendous night of basketball, tomorrow's a different day. Better games, not as dramatic as endings for the next couple times. Wow. So you guys, thank you for joining in. If there's any mic or audio issues, just let me know in the chats below. Lucky for you Cali people, 10:21 p.m. I wish it was that time right now, but unfortunately it's 1:20 and I might look a little tired because it is late in New York City. It's late, so I don't really care about that right now. So let's get right into it. Over the course of an 82 game season, basketball teams compete, playoff positioning, lots of stakes, implications, giving up 5 first round draft picks to land a multiple time All Star center, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, offensive liability. Nowhere to be found. Mr. AKA Mr. Absolute Travesty is Rudy Gobert for punching his teammate, getting suspended for a game like this with so much implications on the line. How the fuck is he gonna help your franchise win? You give up all these fucking draft picks and Rudy Gobert couldn't play. He is absolutely soft. His teammates fucking terrible. Kyle Anderson, Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, absolute travesties. What the hell happened tonight? You know what happened? Cat is absolutely soft. He is pathetic. He is fragile. Absolutely fragile. No killer instinct. Losing mentality. Karl-Anthony Towns simply doesn't have it. Too much crying and whining. Where was he in the fourth quarter when his team needed a basket, when they were struggling? 95 points after Mike Conley hit a three with 6:01 left. Minnesota, zero fucking baskets for the rest of regulation. Zero baskets. Are you kidding me right now? Karl-Anthony Towns, he is so soft. I don't want him hearing saying that, oh, he's the best three-point shooting big all time. He was breaking shots. He played great in the first three quarters. But you know what? The game is not decided in the first three quarters. It's about the fourth quarter time. It's about winning time and how teams are going to close. And what happened today? Cat shit himself. He literally shit himself. Anthony Edwards, his shoulder was bothering him all day, but he was an absolute travesty too. Anthony Edwards was just breaking shots after shots. He was the only Timberwolves to make a basket after that Mike Conley three with 6:01 left. This is an embarrassing performance of the Timberwolves. You fucking savage all your entire future package and draft picks to fucking play like that, to have a guy who's not available, to have Jaden McDaniel, the best perimeter defender, to punch himself in the wall and break his hand and not being available. Man, what a fucking losing franchise. Is this franchise cursed? This is a terrible franchise. Like, I'm almost convinced the city of Minnesota sports is cursed. My God, like from the Twins and whatnot, the only good team on Minnesota has that I'm aware of last couple of years, the Minnesota Lynx. At least they got some WNBA champions. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they ain't winning shit right now. They're a fucking embarrassment. They're shameful. They're pathetic. If they lose on Friday night to either New Orleans or OKC, they're gonna be maybe even a bigger absolute travesty than the Dallas fucking Mavericks. Are you fucking kidding me? Karl-Anthony Towns is straight up soft. He has no killer instinct. He is just as bad as Pandemic P of 2020. He's almost just as bad as Ben Simmons for the Sixers when he passed that layup. Karl-Anthony Towns, you're 7 feet tall. You have Austin Reeves on you. What do? You fucking pass the ball. You pass the ball. Is Taurean Prince gonna save you? Taurean fucking Prince? I mean, Taurean Prince, give credit to him. I slandered him when he was playing for the Nets for some time, but he actually hit some big shots. But Taurean Prince, when he drew the ball to like the fifth row, the hell was that? The Wolves are counting Taurean Prince to bail them out again and again. And Karl-Anthony Towns has 6'5" Austin Reeves on him, and he fucking passed it up. That's a losing attitude. That's a losing mindset. He ain't gonna ever win shit if he plays like that. Fucking soft and passive. Excuse my language, but this is absolutely terrible. An absolute travesty of a basketball team. Jesus Christ. Nobody wanted to win the fucking game. And I give the credits, and Dennis Schroeder Absolute major props to Shooter. He was the one that ignited the Lakers comeback. LeBron got his rest on the bench, but when LeBron came back, the Lakers were already within like three-ish, and Shooter hit that big shot. Anthony fucking Davis fucked up. He almost screwed up. And how about Mike Conley? Mike Conley, he had no legs left. Conley's like 35 years old. He had given it his all. He was hitting threes after threes, and he just couldn't miss in the first half. But what happened? I mean, he had the old legs. It was supposed to be Anthony Edwards to step up. Absolutely, he shit the bed. He just played flat out terrible. Don't ever make those Kobe comparisons, you idiots out there. Because Edwards, he ain't at that level yet. He's probably never gonna get at that level. My God, this was some terrible basketball. Minnesota, what the fuck have they been doing for the last season? When they shit the bed against Memphis, this was just as bad as how they blew a 27-point lead a year ago in Game 3 against the Grizzlies. This was almost just as bad, honestly. This might have been worse because this team doesn't fucking learn from their mistakes. Karl-Anthony Towns, Mr. Passive-Aggressive. He's so passive. You can easily get into his skin. And guess what? After he picked up his fourth foul, he picked up his fifth foul because Anthony Davis nowhere to be and Karl Towns, he just doesn't fucking play smart. Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't mature. This is like his 7th or 8th year in the league now. He's been in the NBA since 2015, and he still has the IQ of a 19-year-old. Jesus Christ, that was terrible. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns this offseason, he's got to work with somebody like Tim Duncan on defense. He's got to stop fouling. My God, he's a talented player offensively, but he makes all these boneheaded mistakes. This is the perfect Karl-Anthony Towns game from the highest of the highs to the lowest of lows. And we saw a combination of everything today. And the first 3 quarters, he was the highest of highs. And then when the pressure started getting to him, he was the lowest of lows. My God, he can't be a franchise player. I'm sick of hearing Karl-Anthony Towns that's up there as one of the best big men. He's nowhere near Embiid's level, nowhere near Jokic's level. And you know what? I would rather have Al Horford in crunch time, even 2023 Al Horford, on my team instead of Karl-Anthony Towns, because Al Horford's a guy that makes a lot of winning plays. Once Al Horford retires, sign him up to be one of the assistants for the Timberwolves to help Karl-Anthony Towns get some of that toughness, get some of that smart instincts, and not commit some of these stupid plays. Because guys like Al Horford, right place, right time, not as talented, he's going to get the right rebound. He's going to make the best reads. He's going to see mismatches. And Al Horford's going to step up, and he's going to give his team those easier layup and opportunities. Minnesota would have sealed the game, in my opinion, if they had someone like Al Horford, even this year's Al Horford, in the game in the last 5 minutes over Karl-Anthony Towns. Because Karl-Anthony Towns, he doesn't improve on his mistakes. It's one thing to see a player and to see how certain guys grow year in and year out. And there's been a bunch of players I was wrong about, but they rejuvenated himself and they shut everybody up. But Karl-Anthony Towns has not been that way so far. Karl-Anthony Towns, man, low IQ, doesn't have it. He seems scared, super passive, doesn't make the right reads, just no good instincts. How long has Karl-Anthony Towns been in the league? My God. And he just doesn't get it. I mean, there's guys, rookie guys like Walker Kessler, who's smart, IQ on defense, nowhere to be at all times. Absolutely vital guys. Karl-Anthony Towns, what the fuck was he doing out there in the fourth? Jesus Christ. Minnesota, absolutely shameful of a disgrace of a travesty. The Timberwolves, my God, this is so ugly. This was the ugliest fourth quarter I ever seen. They ran no fucking plays down the stretch, even in overtime when they needed a basket down 5. They milked the shot clock all the way down. What was Anthony Edwards thinking? And then it was Kyle Anderson time. Kyle Anderson, he shit the bed too. He's been solid for Minnesota this season, but when it came to pressure time, when they needed a basket, he just lost the ball out there. And man, the Lakers also play like shit too, but they're going to play Memphis. They're in the playoffs now. I don't see the Lakers winning really against the Grizzlies, but because I didn't like their execution today, and they seem a little tired. LeBron's still going to have his numbers, but on defense and certain stretches, some nights he's just going to fumble the ball a little bit. It's not as quick as he used to be, but still very effective. But it's going to be the Lakers defense to work, even though I do think that they have a good chance against Memphis too. So we'll see about that. But the Minnesota fucking Timberwolves, Chris Flinch, my God. And this could have been the opportunity of the Timberwolves making their finally one right decision in adding Mike Conley and getting rid of D'Angelo Russell. Because I'm not going to let D'Angelo Russell off the hook today because he was also an absolute travesty. D'Angelo Russell, $30 million a year? What? 1 of 9 shooting, 2 points? D'Angelo Russell? Does he want to be part of a big three? 2 fucking points is D'Lo half. My God, he was absolutely atrocious. And that's why Minnesota wanted to get rid of him. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're shameful, man. Once again, kudos to Dennis Schroeder, kudos to LeBron and Anthony Davis. They made heck of plays. Austin Reeves played tough too. And Anthony Edwards, disgusting. 3 of 17 from the field, ain't cutting it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was the guy off the bench that actually helped Minnesota have their lead and cling on to the lead. And Jalen Noel, I didn't like seeing him play at times. Jordan McLaughlin, an absolute travesty. My God, McLaughlin, he might be the worst player in the NBA. He was terrible. Jesus Christ, McLaughlin. He thought he was gonna attack LeBron James. He got his shit swatted. You know why? Because he was drunk. He was terrible. And that offensive foul he committed, Jordan McLaughlin, oh Jesus Christ. I'd rather have Isaiah Thomas right now on defense over Jordan McLaughlin because McLaughlin was absolutely terrible. Don't even get me started with Zion having Simmons syndrome because Zion, his fat ass needs to be in shape and play basketball. He might be next on my rant if New Orleans doesn't win. If the Pelicans get eliminated too, I'm going to rant on them. So New Orleans ain't off the hook. Man, what a travesty. Sorry, Tommy, for your USC Trojans. Jordan McLaughlin was a Trojan horse today for USC and the Timberwolves. That's how bad he was. I'm wide awake right now. McLaughlin, that was terrible, man. Shaved his whole head. He played like he was 45 out there. He played like a drunk dad that tried to go at it against LeBron, who's a foot taller than him, and he just got his shit swatted, man. Bron didn't even have to jump for that play. Minnesota, absolutely immature, absolutely terrible. The Timberwolves have won 3 playoff games since 2004, and the Sacramento Kings since 2004, after 2004, I should say, they won 1 game in 05 and they won 2 games in 06. So Sacramento's going to have more wins and more success. That franchise, despite their suffering, congratulations to the Sacramento Kings on getting the 3rd seed and playing competitive basketball come playoff time against a team in Golden State. That's going to be a phenomenal series. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, Karl-Anthony Towns, they have to trade him, man. They have to trade him. He played like 20 games this year because he got hurt. He just got hurt. So, but he was terrible in the clutch. You can't trust him down the stretch. And if you have Ant Edwards playing this poorly, because Karl-Anthony Towns, the moment ain't in for him. The bridge is too bright, stage too bright for Karl Towns. He's not playoff material. I'm just too bad. He's just really not. So there you have it. How about the Atlanta Hawks tonight destroying, abusing, spanking the Miami Heat? Bam Adebayo, Scam Adebayo. I saw someone tweeted that on Twitter. Was a travesty today. He got his shit destroyed, and he's terrible. This game, he just didn't have it. He's nowhere near as one of the best centers in the NBA. I have Domantas Sabonis above him, and I'm not even sure if Bam Adebayo this season has been better than Brook Lopez, because Bam Adebayo was a travesty. He was absolutely god-awful, missing those bunnies, and you had Clint Capella looking like Moses Malone and Will Chamberlain out there. Clint Capella killed him on the glass. Trae Young, credit to him for taking care of business tonight, and DeJounte Murray as well. The Atlanta Hawks going on to play Boston. I have Boston winning that series, but it's a good story for the Atlanta Hawks to get the 7th seed and I guess maybe win a few playoff games. I don't think they're going to beat Boston, but they took care of business in South Beach today. The Heat did not show up. $90 million Duncan Robinson sat on the bench, 0 minutes. Matt Strus, an absolute travesty. He was absolutely god-awful. Victor Oladipo, 9 minutes. His days are behind him. He's washed. Kyle Lowry played his ass off. Give credit to Kyle Lowry. He really balled out today. So I give a lot of respect for him for just trying to keep his team in it. Otherwise, they would have lost by 40. They would have lost by 40. Kyle Lowry, he played phenomenal. So hats off to him because of that championship DNA. That's what he has. So Kyle Lowry was sensational. I'm going to scroll up this chat right now so answer any of you questions. I'm not gonna stick around for too long because it's getting late. Yeah, Minnesota's a travesty. Karl-Anthony Towns. Isn't it predictable that Carl Towns will be one of the biggest absolute travesties of this season or on this playoffs? Like, who's gonna be my travesty rant? The Dallas Mavericks. I went pretty hard at Mark Cuban, and I went pretty hard at Anthony Edwards too. New Orleans Pelicans might be next. Might be Zion. Bam better than Cat. Yeah, probably, but not too good. Karl-Anthony Towns should grow up. If he wants to be great, he's got to learn from his mistakes. How long has he been in the league? Is he ever gonna fucking learn? Because he was terrible. Yeah, the Lakers were not that great too. They look old out there, but they won the game because Minnesota literally shit the bed. They literally shit the bed. LA strip clubs will be giving Jonathan Harden welcome. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Great comment here, Tommy. Great comment. Tommy Danger. Great comedian. So you guys can check out Tommy if you like comedy. Tommy's a great guy. Wow. The Timberwolves. So they gotta have home court and play Minnesota in Minnesota against New Orleans or OKC. That game's gonna be interesting, but New Orleans should take care of business in that game. They should take care of business. There's no doubt. Rudy Gobert, pathetic. He let his team down. Like, what the fuck was Minnesota thinking? Their front office. Did they think that he was actually going to be the second coming of Kevin Garnett in '08? They gave up 5 first-round picks. They gave up Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler. I take Walker Kessler over Gobert any day right now. That's not even close. You see how good the young bigs playing? And a lot of other guys too. Pat Beverly. If Minnesota had Patrick Beverly this game, they would have won because Pat Bev makes winning plays and he hustles. And I trust Pat Beverly to make a clutch play or a clutch shot over Karl-Anthony Towns because Karl-Anthony Towns, he doesn't have it. He's not clutch. Talented player. He can get you 25, 30 a game any given night in the regular season, but he ain't it. I take Brook Lopez too. Brook Lopez is a winner. Brook Lopez just gets better and works on his weaknesses. People made fun of Brook Lopez because he was slow and had bad defense. But you know what? Brook Lopez on his way to potentially winning Defensive Player of the Year. And he's 35. Kudos to Al Horford and Brook Lopez and guys that were never the most talented, but they knew how to play the right way and they know how to get better and adapt in the league. That's something guys like Dwight Howard kind of failed to do. That's something a lot of guys just couldn't really extend their careers. Roy Hibbert couldn't do that. But just if anybody wants playing basketball as a 7-footer, they play center as a big man. Look at what Al Horford's been doing in his career and how he changes his game and just diversifies. Look at Brook Lopez. He was bad on defense. He was never a good rebounder, but you know what? He improved on his defense, and Milwaukee's able to use him to rim protect while Giannis can be free safety. Brook Lopez just keeps his hand up. He doesn't foul too hard, and Brook Lopez, he's just super calm, and he's developed the three-point shot. And look at guys like Marc Gasol, too. He used to bang a lot down low inside, and then he became a pretty good defender and a good three-point specialist. Karl-Anthony Towns has all the offense in the world, but he just has stupid, dumb IQ. Karl-Anthony Towns has bad IQ. That's why his team lost today. And I don't think Minnesota should rebuild around Towns because how many years has he been with this team? And how many playoff series he's won? 0. Is this his 8th season in the league? He's been here since 2015-16. And he's won how many? 1, 2, 3 playoff games. He was terrible against Houston in 2018. He was absolutely terrible last season against Memphis. And in the fourth quarter, he was terrible in the play-in today. 8 seasons. What an absolute travesty, Karl-Anthony Towns. My God, this is terrible. If Minnesota doesn't win on Friday at home and they don't make the playoffs altogether while savaging their entire future for Rudy Gobert, I'm going to make a travesty video on the Minnesota Timberwolves. What a travesty. What a terrible game by Minnesota. This was a disgrace. This was terrible. Dumb execution. Dumb basketball. I mean, UConn basketball, way higher IQ, plays way better with a good coach than these Timberwolves. Minnesota didn't even look like an NBA team today. Like, what the hell were they thinking in the fourth quarter? Jesus Christ. Nobody hit a fucking shot. Then within the last 6 minutes, besides in Edwards in overtime when the game was out of reach. Jesus Christ, man. And the Lakers, they got their hands full against the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't feel very good about them. They got lucky today, but they got the job done. And then the shooter, clutch shooter. With that said, I'm going to log out now and hopefully get some rest and watch a better game tomorrow for the play-in. So thank you guys so much for watching. Minnesota Timberwolves, absolute travesty. What a disgrace of the Timberwolves. And for you Timberwolves fans out there, I pray for you. I just pray. I pray, and hopefully we'll see what happens next. But tomorrow, Patrick Beverley in the play-in. How about that? OKC, New Orleans, Brandon Ingram. How about that? Minnesota, they ain't it. Their season pretty much over. Rudy Gobert, who knows if he will show up. What a disaster. And love y'all. See you next time.